Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Wednesday Connect. For those of you who are new to our program, we are the La Jolla Community Center, and we host a weekly series called Wednesday Connect. This is an opportunity for people to get together from the community to socialize, connect, learn something new, hopefully walk away with some knowledge. And so we're very excited to have Minnie Valero here with us today. She's a longtime participant and instructor at the La Jolla Community Center, wonderful artist, and many more attributes that we'll go over in a bit when I read her bio. Minnie's been an artist at the Community Center for a long time. She's part of the La Jolla Art Association and many other associations, of course. World-renowned, wonderful artist. But a little bit about her: she's born and raised in Córdoba, Argentina. Minnie immigrated to the US with her family and pursued a career in public high school education while obtaining a master's degree in English and Linguistics, counseling and educational policy from UCLA. Now she divides her time between her home in California and her travels around the world, of course, when allowed, painting and teaching art in French, Spanish, and English. So it's my pleasure to introduce Minnie Valero.
Thank you very much. Yeah. And thank you, all of you. It does give me a sense of where we are to hear, not only physically where you are from right now, where you're located, but also a little bit of experience with watercolor, and some of you are interested more in sketching maybe. All of that gives me a feeling, makes me feel more comfortable when I talk to you. The first thing I would like to tell you is that art is a journey. Because some people maybe don't get this. Art is a journey. It's a process. It's like being on a bus, on a train, in an airplane, going somewhere. There is no destination for us. Art is not a destination because we are never there. We are never done. It's never the end. The minute we finish one little painting, we start another one. The minute we do one sketch, we are not happy, we start another one. If we are happy, we start another one anyway. So that is the most important thing, the number one thing that I would like you all to embrace is that art is like life. It's a journey. And every day is a new day. And every painting is a new painting or a new sketch or a new piece of paper, a new pen, a new pencil. We are never at the end. We never arrive. We are never done. So that's number one. I would be very insistent the whole time for you to have a notebook, a sketchbook, paper. But I prefer, rather than loose papers, I prefer sketchbooks. I have, I have over 200 sketchbooks from the past 15 years or so, when I retired as a high school assistant principal, and I dedicated my life full-time to this. So it doesn't matter what kind of sketchbook. It could be, see, I have them numbered by the year. It could be a small, very small, where you take notes of things you like, questions you have about whatever, sketch people you see somewhere, or this is Balboa Park. So it could be small or it could be large. Here I have another one that's large. Look at this beautiful one I bought in New York once. I love sketchbooks. I buy them all over the place. They're all different. And that's part of the challenge because the paper is always different. So sometimes, oh, this is in my patio, that's my barbecue in the patio. So you take notes. I think I marked something I wanted to show you. Let's see. Okay, it's not that page. Maybe this one. So it could be like you sketch in pencil or watercolor. Of course, you could do oils or acrylics or pastels, but they are a little more cumbersome. You have to wait for them to dry or not to be sticky, or you have other problems. The beauty of watercolor is that it's so convenient. Again, different sketchbooks. I even have some that are lined, but these, as you can see, have just regular paper. Oh, I wanted to tell a story about this one. I was using this one. The minute I finish one, I start another one. And since I buy them all over the place, I have a hard time making a decision which one I'm going to start now. This particular one, I was using this notebook in August when I had an exhibition in Balboa Park in Gallery 21. And I'm sketching whatever outside the window, everything I see. And this lady walks in with her baby in a stroller. And I loved her outfit, actually, her green outfit. So I'm sketching her at my desk while she is looking at my paintings on the wall. And they left with her husband and children. And a minute later, her husband comes rushing in and says quietly, I would like you, I saw you doing my wife, making that painting of my wife. So I'd like you to make one bigger and send it to me. He gives me his address, he pays me everything, and he wants it to be a surprise for his wife. It was so heartwarming and so surprising. So sometimes minding your own business, you are just sketching quietly and somebody likes it or wants it. Not the first time, but this was the last one. Again, sketchbooks being of different, look at this. I was watching the Oscars. It was Oscar night. So you just go ahead and put color and lines all over the place, just having fun. Watching television or watching concerts is it's excellent. Why? Because when you're watching television, you're at home, you're comfortable, you can go to the bathroom, you can go get more clean water, whatever. And the people don't move. You can stop. You can stop the TV. You like an image, you stop, and then you paint it, and then you go on. So it's very convenient to sketch from life, from something going on the TV. So I do that sometimes. My husband doesn't appreciate my stopping, but this is whatever, somebody, it's my friend Lori, I think, in Balboa Park. So again, I love to take notes too. Oh, this is something else I recommend. When you visit a museum, an art museum or any museum, you take your sketchbook with you and you do little sketches. You know, Sorolla, Joaquin Sorolla, the famous Spanish painter, he used to say, we must keep the hand warm. That means sketch all the time. It doesn't matter, a few lines, black and white, color, whatever, with a pen, with a pencil, doesn't matter. So I usually sketch a few things that touch me or talk to me. In a museum, I've been kicked out of a museum for doing watercolors. So I don't do watercolors anymore. I do mostly pencil. I think I did pen here. I was cheating. So these are images. You just do dark and light. And that is very good to teach you, to learn how to see, because painting is light. That's the most important thing. That's what we do. Actually, we try to capture the light. Okay, I don't want to go over my time. So I've told you the number one important thing. Art is a journey, not a destination. Now, number two that I want you to take with you today, number two is that everything we do is good. Everything, everything. We make no mistakes. Nothing we do is bad or wrong, because we are learning. So everything we do is good. Everything. So we never, ever hear negative words. We never say negative words. We don't say, oh, damn it, I wanted to do this and this came out. Great, whatever came out is good, because we are learning. And that brings me to Goya. Francisco de Goya y Lucientes is another famous Spanish painter who finished his life, ended his last years of his life in France, actually in Bordeaux. I visited his house in Bordeaux. And once I was at the Prado, at the Museum of the Prado in Madrid, and I found this, of course, this is a piece of paper that I printed from my computer, but I found it a large piece done with black charcoal and pencil. This is Goya's self-portrait. His self-portrait, I just printed last night from the computer. But what's interesting about this is the title. He did his self-portrait at 80. He was 80 years old. And the title of his self-portrait is Aún aprendo. You can read here in Spanish. Aún aprendo. I am still learning. Goya, at 80, he was still learning. What does it mean for us? What does it mean for us? We are still learning. That's why everything we do is good. We make no mistakes. We are learning. Okay, I hope you're taking notes. I hope you do have your sketchbook, notebook with you, taking notes and writing down to ask me questions. I'd love to answer your questions if I know, and if I don't, I'll find out. And I'll call you or text you or email you, and we'll find out together, and we will learn together. So number one, art is a journey. Number two, everything we do is good. And number three, every time you buy something, you buy a car, you buy something, and you want a guarantee, right? Well, I'm giving you a guarantee. I guarantee that everything we do in the class will not go to the Louvre in Paris, will not go to the Prado in Madrid, or to the Met in New York. That's my guarantee. We do, we paint, we laugh, we put water everywhere. We have fun because everything we do is good. And I guarantee nothing we do will go, or we make, will go to the Louvre or the Prado. I hope you're with me in that. So now I'd like to do just a little demo. I'm going to lower my iPad here to, hopefully you can see there. I have some pieces of watercolor paper here. They are different textures. These two are arches and this one is not. So can you see I have 3 pieces of paper here, and there you can see I have a container with water. Water is very important. That's what we do. Oh, I forgot to tell you, watercolor. What is watercolor? And I have a brush here. Watercolor is pigment and water. So I want to show you how the pigment travels in the water like people on a bus. Here, I'm dipping my brush in clean water. I'm dipping my brush at the top of the water. You never go to the bottom. Why? Because the pigment, once the water is dirty, deposits at the bottom. I'm dipping my brush in water. You can see the water, I hope. And let's see. Can you see this one here? Yes, I think. There you go. And now I'm going to make a spiral with just plain water. Look at this, it's getting dry. So I'm going to dip it again. And I don't know how much you can see the water spiral. Hopefully it shines and you can see it here.
It's okay. A little washed out, Minnie. We could see it a little bit. We could see that more.
All right. All right, there. And you'll be able to see it better in a minute. There you go. Okay, thank you, Nancy. So here's water, just plain water. Look at that. It's a spiral done on watercolor paper with water. So why am I doing this? Because now I'm going to put a little bit of yellow on the water where the spiral is. Hopefully you can see that. Now I wash my brush and I'm going to put a little bit of red Oh, look at that, a little bit of red on the water. And now you're beginning to see the spiral a little better. I'm going to put some blue here, and I'm going to put some blue at the tip of the spiral. Now, see, we have 3 colors, and I'm going to go for red again. Right here, I put some red again. And wait a minute, what's going on? Didn't I put yellow and blue and red? Yet, look at all the colors we have. I'm going to move my paper a little bit and a little bit of inclination, and I'm moving it around, and you can see the water with pigment. You see the pigment traveling in the water. Always paper towels handy, but if it drips, it doesn't matter. It's only watercolor. You can wash the clothes. There is no stain. Now look what we have. We have more than 3 colors. We have yellow and blue get together. Look at that green over there. Look at that orange. Look at this purple. And yet we only put 3 colors. I'm going to wipe a little bit, and then you see how the intensity of the color diminishes. The intensity diminishes because some of the pigment went onto my paper towel, right? So here, oops, there you go. Look at the variety of colors we have. With just 3, we made at least 6 colors with a variation of intensity. Why? Because there is more pigment in some areas than in others, and that changes the intensity. Why the different colors? Look at that beautiful green over here. Even different shades of green, probably with different names. Why? Because some have more blue, like over here, and some other areas have more yellow and less blue. Look at the purple, look at the almost lavender here. And that comes from what combination of blue and red? The little purple here, and very little orange here from yellow and red, because I could have added a little more red. So color, working with color is very exciting. But what else are we learning with this exercise is that the pigment travels like little boats in the water, as if they were little paper boats. They travel, pigment travels in water. So we can make it do a lot of things. We can make it go whatever we want. And the pigment, we can use different things as pigment. We can even use coffee. This is my cup of coffee that my daughter just sent me for my birthday. The earth without art is just, isn't that cute? So we can even use coffee. Look at this. I'm dipping a brush in my coffee. It's very light, so the color will be very light, but you can see, here, you can see that you can do some, a little shape here, maybe a vase. So if you have, there you go, a vase with brushes, like the one I have behind me, a vase with brushes. You can make little marks, and I rinse my brush, with coffee. You can use tea also. You can use beer, wine. You can use anything you want. It's just pigment and color. I'm making it a little lighter in there. Let's see. So a little lighter over here, so that it gives it a little bit of contour to, what is that? A vase with flowers, a hand going like this with 10 fingers, whatever it is. We have some kind of background. Actually, I'm going to do a little more coffee because I want to talk to you about backgrounds. So what we do sometimes, for those of you who are into sketching, or want a little more of sketching, we are going to be sketching. Sometimes we start with a sketch. Sometimes we start with some kind of background, some kind of color in the bright background. Why? Because we are trying, and we want to try different things. We are going to do different things in each class. Let me put this up again so you can see me again. There we go. We are going to do different things in each class. I have a few postcards here that I would like you to see. These are from different watercolor artists, so that you see the variety of things we can do. This is an artist, Andreina Marina, in Argentina, who you can see it's mostly color. The figures are done with color. Maybe she did a little pencil sketch at the beginning, but look at the contrast with this postcard. I buy art postcards sometimes. This is also from Argentina, an artist from Argentina. This is Monica Bertolino. You can see that the sketch, a very detailed sketch, done in ink, and then just a little bit of color. And look how beautiful it is. While the contrast with this one is all watercolor, basically, and maybe she did a little pencil, the people in pencil at the beginning, not to go, to keep some limits. So you see the variety. Then we have brush only. This is a Chinese artist. I don't have the person's name. Look at this. It's watercolor only, no pencil marks, no detail in ink. It's just the brush. It's black ink and watercolor. So the variety of what we can do. This is one of the most famous French watercolorists, Blanche Odin. Look at the difference. Loose, and this is loose and detail. Look at that detail. Look at those, the leaves, the flowers, the vase, and then the focal point, the main flower, right here, looking at us. This is a master. These are all masters. And then for absolute looseness in watercolor, and this is Contramoulin, another French master. This is a naked woman, in case you hadn't noticed. But you can see the looseness of his brush compared to this. Totally different. Which one are you? None of these. You are you. So you can do some sketching, some watercolor. The main thing is for you to work, to do it all the time. And now I would like to introduce to you, people in England, I'm sure you know very well who he is. One of my absolute heroes, Joseph William Mallory Turner. Turner, in his watercolors, these are all watercolors of Venice. Look at the beauty of that. Look at that. The mood. Look at the way he works his watercolors. Turner did a lot. Sometimes he prepared 20 or 30 backgrounds before he did the painting, before he did his subject. This is Turner. Please look him up if you haven't heard of him. And I'm sure most of you know who he is. William Mallory Turner. So sometimes I do that too, and we will be doing that too. We will be preparing. This is watercolor paper, and it's just a background. What is it? Nothing. It's just color. It's soft color, ready for me to do some sketching on it. Different backgrounds. Sometimes it like Turner used to do. He used to do large pieces of watercolor paper and do 20, 30, one after the other one, just leave them there. So when he was ready to do something, he would look at his watercolor paper backgrounds and decide whether, let's see if it was this one, whether to do it in this direction or in this direction, depending. Do I want to do a water scene or a landscape? And that could be the sky maybe, or who knows, maybe something catches my eye that I want to use it this way or that way. So sometimes having a background with some light color gives you an idea. This could be a sunset. Maybe, maybe not. It depends what we want to do. So sometimes we will do, when we practice exercises with watercolor, with alcohol, with salt, with sometimes we will use those exercises. We'll keep them and use them later for as a background. I'm looking at the time, and I'm going to stop now for a minute and see if there are any questions. So the three things that I wanted you to take with you today is that art is a journey, that everything we do is good, and that I give you the guarantee that our work will not be at a world famous museum, but just at home for our enjoyment and pleasure. Let's see, Nancy, are there any questions?
Hi, Minnie. I've unmuted. If anyone has any questions, we still have time, Minnie. The program goes through 11, and so I know you have more things to show us, but if anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute and ask Minnie directly at this moment, because I don't see any in the chat function. So if you'd like to unmute, feel free.
I was going to ask about pencils and I guess charcoal. I don't know what to get.
Okay, all right. Well, pencils, usually you have numbers and a couple of letters. Usually you have the 2B, 4B, 6B, and then you have the H. I would like everybody to know, you should know this, that HB, when you see HB, if you see a box of pencils and you have all these little letters, the B stands for soft. I don't know why. I don't know what language it comes from, but B stands for soft. So H stands for hard. So you don't want any pencil that has an H. Forget the H's. Leave them for your grandchildren to play with, or your children, whatever. Just, or to write notes to yourself. But for sketching and drawing, you want that B here on the pencil. Now, the larger the number, the softer the pencil is. So a 2B is nice and soft. 4B, and some boxes come with 3, 4, 5, 6. Some boxes have every number, but sometimes a smaller box will have only every 2. So if you have a 3B, will be softer. Sometimes when there's only one number difference, it's hard to actually feel the difference. But if you go 4, 6, 8, and I have a pencil here to make a little demonstration. And of course, my sketchbook, the one I'm using right now, until ooh, look, it's almost done. And then I can use one of my new ones. Okay, so this is a little demo about the pencil that I want to make. When you write, you hold your pencil like this, right? And then you write. There you go, you are writing. But when you are sketching, watch my hand. You want to hold your pencil, watch my right hand, I'm right hand, like this. So instead of my hand being under the pencil to sketch, I'm going to hold the pencil with my hand above the pencil. Why? Because then I'm not using the tip of the pencil. I'm using more the side of the pencil. It allows me to go softly, make a line softer, or even make a shade. You see what I'm doing? With the side of the pencil, let's see, can you see that? There, that's better. So there, with the side of the pencil, you see, you can use the shade, you can do it, and this is only a 2B. Yeah, this is not even a good pencil, but you can see the difference if you go softer like this, if you go harder. So it allows you to do shades. Now, sometimes you go, oh, but I have to make that little eye. Let's see, can you see that? But I want to make the details of an eye. All right. So there, now I'm holding the pencil like to write because, oh there, because I'm doing a detail that I need, a precise detail. And then to shade again, you go like this. Does that make sense? So B, and the bigger the number, the softer the pencil. Have I answered your question?
I have a couple questions.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
It says, class says supplies. Will we get a couple brushes or do we get just one brush?
Oh, no, you will get several brushes because you couldn't work with only one brush. I would like you to have a wide, so Nancy and I will go shopping for supplies. You people in Canada and England, I don't know how you're gonna manage, and but I guess we'll figure out something. And Marie-Christine in France, I know she has all kinds of supplies, so I'm not worried about you, Marie-Christine. So what we want to have is two shapes. We want the flats and the rounds. These we call rounds and flats. Usually, why do we want both? Because, let me lower this so that you can see my paper again. So I can show you a little bit. Let's see. There we have. There. Can you see there? Yeah. Okay. So that I'm dipping my brush in water and I'm going like this. And now I'm going to put a little color here. So usually when we use the flat is what we call to do a first wash. We want to cover the paper or sometimes a section of the paper. So we'll do a wash, and I think I need to there. Let's see. See, no, it's all white. I need to turn off some light because too much light makes...
Maybe lower the camera, the iPad a little bit, Minnie.
Let me turn off. I have too much light, and that's there. Can you see it better now?
Yes.
There, yeah. I think with less light, actually, there. Now I only have natural light from my skylight now.
It's washing out a little still, but yeah, you
there,
can see that.
there. Okay. So I think next time I will put the camera, the iPad in a different location to be able to see better. Okay, so I did a wash. So the flat brush is usually, we use it for what we call a wash. And that means to cover a relatively large section of the paper with color and water. Because obviously, as you can see, it can cover quite a bit when it's flat. Now the round, unless it's a very big round, which of course we are not going to have in this class, but of course I have for large, as you can see this one, it's a very large round, but we will be using a smaller round. See the difference? You have a large round and a small round. We will be using a small round to, I'm trying here a little bit, to do some detail. Like for example, you can see here where I did the coffee. This is what I did in coffee. And so if we want to do some little marks, you can see we can do this. on the background. So we have flats and rounds. Some are to do details, and some, you can see the detail I can do with a round, and how I can cover surfaces better with a flat. Of course, it all depends on the size of the paper we're using. I just have 3 pieces of watercolor paper in one on one support here for this little conversation today and this little demo of today. We the rounds are also very good to do splashes. Sometimes we are going to do splashes, like here, for example, this would be a little splatter or splash. You can see how it adds. Sometimes we want to add a little, let me put it this way, serendipity to our work. And the splatters are really very good. And sometimes we want to add even a little more serendipity. And I have a water sprayer. And if I spray a little water there, look what happens. When I just spray a little water on those splatters, and as long as they're wet before they dry, it can produce a very fun dripping that I can try to catch and dry. But if I don't, nothing happens. Remember, watercolor doesn't stain. It's not like acrylic, which will stay forever, or oil, which will stay very hard to get rid of, that too. So we'll do different effects with different techniques. So we will learn some of the fun techniques you can do with watercolor. And if I add even a little more, so to answer the question of the brushes, we'll have different shaped brushes. There are some little packages that I saw at Michael's. For those of you living in the San Diego area or California, we have Michael's, a little art supply store. And I saw a few packages of brushes that are in a variety of shapes and sizes. We'll probably be using that. And also a few things that you can find at home, like a little bit of alcohol, salt, a little twig from a branch of a tree. The alcohol, why the alcohol? Well, this is a sprayer that has a little bit of alcohol. So it just, you can see what happened to this color. And if I spray a little alcohol, look at the effect it does. So it's pretty cool when you're doing trees or maybe flowers on a tree. You see when it's not fully dry yet, and just absorbing some of the drips here. And while it's still wet, if you spray just a little bit of alcohol, it does this effect that it could be a beautiful bougainvillea falling over the plant. Or if the color is green, you imagine that it's you see a tree. So it's little tricks for the eye, because that's what it is. After all, painting, you know, it's actually two-dimensional, it's paper, but we pretend, like you see here in the back of this wall in my studio here. Oops, sorry about that. So you can pretend that it's a shoemaker. Can you see this yet? Or a girl looking at her phone, or two birds, whatever. It's all paper and pigment. But when we see it, and that's the object of painting, is to imagine. It could be a beautiful abstract scene also, but it's kind of pretending and having fun fooling the eye. All right. Some of the other very, very fun materials we will use is salt. In this container, I just have It's salt, it's cooking salt from your kitchen, and it produces very fun effects. And other of the very easy to find materials are sticks, twigs from any tree near you, any branch. We are going to be doing some marks with twigs. So there is a lot of fun stuff that we'll be doing, and producing different effects is really amazing how you can do with a little bit of pigment, a little bit of water or a lot of water. You are not going to get in trouble, even with coffee, but it has to be very strong coffee or else it's very, very light. So
Wonderful.
any other questions?
Can I ask a question? You mentioned alcohol. Oh,
yes.
What do you mean alcohol?
Well, I mean this. If you're
Yeah.
here in the US, you're going to recognize CVS, the pharmacy here. It says 91 degrees. I think it says 91, yeah. It cost about $1 for this big bottle.
Right,
and
right.
then I put it in any container. Actually, will produce effects with the water because it's chemistry. It's alcohol acting with water. It could be with regular water, but then you don't see it. But if you have color in the water, then you see it. This is a little spray bottle. And then I have some alcohol also in this other bottle, in this little bottle. Why? Because it's a drop. It drops fall, and then it makes just bigger lumps of mark.
Okay.
And it's just beautiful. I have some paintings where, you know, it works. By the way, the alcohol works on watercolor and on acrylic. So any of you who does acrylic, you can play with that too. And it stays. The salt doesn't work on acrylic. So there, have I answered your question? Regular alcohol that costs almost nothing.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Any additional questions?
What kind of effects does the alcohol produce, Minnie, than that, you know, water doesn't, or like the spray water bottle doesn't?
Well, you saw here, if you, there, can you see it? There. It does, when the alcohol touches the water with pigment, there, can you see that?
Yes.
It does, the alcohol actually rejects the water. So it produces like a hole, like a little holes, little white, because the paper is white. So the alcohol displaces the water and the pigment, making it, there, can you see it? Making those little, you see those little marks?
Yes.
Like little cells, right?
Little cells of blank, because rejecting the water, as it rejects the water and the pigment is floating in the water. As it rejects it, then it makes like a little, like a hole, a cell without water or pigment, or with less water and pigment. So you can do it, I can do it with the other, look at this. I'm putting water, again, it has to be wet. I'm putting water here. I'm putting some strong pigment here. I'm going to put strong. Why strong? Because it's easier for you to see. Then you can do it with softer colors too, of course. But then this way. Now, instead of the spray, I'm going to use this one that does little droplets of alcohol. It's the same alcohol. You can see how the paper starts absorbing the water and the pigment. And now you can see, look, you see? Now the effect of the alcohol is more obvious. You see what it does?
Yes.
So
okay.
You may think, so what do I do with that? Obviously, until we are doing an actual painting with something, I'm drying it because I want to put it vertical so you can see it. you see the effect of drops of alcohol, just a drop. So what can you do with that? Well, I don't have it right here, but I will have them for next session. I have paintings where I have done a lamp, and it's a light coming out of the lamp. I see it in my head, but I don't have the painting right here to show it to you. And I've done that with drops of alcohol. And it's so fun to see how, so I painted the lamp, I painted the couple dancing, they're dancing tango. It's one of my tango dancers series. And then coming out of the lamp are drops of alcohol. That's what I did. But when you see the painting, it looks like the light is moving and going like this, going out of the lamp toward the people dancing. So it does curious effects that you can play with.
Okay, thank you, Minnie.
Thank you, Minnie. Before it's 11 o'clock, I'm going to share my screen with you for a minute to tell those in the class about how to sign up for the class. So give me one sec.
Good.
And then if you have questions after I share this, Minnie, do you have a few more minutes to stick around to answer more questions?
Of course. And
Okay.
I would just like to say then goodbye to most of you with a parting phrase from my cup of coffee that remember that art, that the earth without art is just so we need it. We need art. We need to do this.
Good. Sorry, I stopped sharing because I wanted everybody to see that screen. So yeah, but please stick around if you have a few minutes or if you have additional questions for Minnie. I just wanted to make sure that I shared this information with you. So again, about the community center, you can visit ljcommunitycenter.org to see the schedule of our free virtual classes. Again, everything from meditation and yoga, strength and balance, art, those are included here. About Minnie's class, the class is called Watercolor Magic. It's a 4-week class for beginners, and you can sign up and see the information there. It's ljcommunitycenter.org/series, and you'll be able to see the class information there. It's a basics class, but as you saw with Minnie, I mean, she's a fun and interactive person, and you'll learn a lot. Although she's guaranteed you won't be at the Louvre, never say never. But so the duration of the class is going to be 4 weeks. It's a 90-minute class. It's from 10 to 11:30 a.m. And there is a cost to the class. It's $49 for members of the community center, $59 for non-members. And so if you'd like to register, again, visit the website that you see up on the screen. It's ljcommunitycenter.org/series. The maximum is 10 students, just so that Minnie can have the attention to each student. But we will schedule another class if we do get more than the 10 students and we have a wait list. And so please do that. Again, it's on our website. If you have any questions for us, give us a call or email, and we'll be sure to answer your questions there. I also want to remind you that Wednesday Connect is a weekly series, and next Wednesday we have a speaker talking to us about a really unique app. It's called the Helping Care app. It's an easy to use application that's available on your phone, and this stores important information about your loved ones, whether it's your spouse or parents, and it includes medical information, insurance, emergency contacts, a lot of really great features that allows you to encapsulate all of this information in one place, so you're not going around, looking for paperwork when you have an appointment or something. So we'll have that speaker on next week. And again, if you want to sign up for the class, it's ljcommunitycenter.org/series. And so thank you all for joining us. I'm going to go back to Minnie. If anybody has any additional questions, please feel free to ask.
My question is, if I sign up for the class and I'm out of state, will I get a list of supplies that I need to buy?
Absolutely.
Yes, you will.
Okay.
Yeah. Any additional questions? The information is also in the chat function. Deb, thanks for adding that. If you go to the chat function, there's information there on the website, the direct link. So feel free to visit that.
Nancy, I have a question.
Sure.
If you sign up for the class and then can't make one of them for whatever reason, will it be recorded that you could watch it later?
Yes, we normally do. And if it's okay with Minnie, we do record the classes in case if someone misses one, it'll be available. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. Any additional questions for Minnie? No? All right. Well, Minnie, thank you so much. I think we all learned a lot and we're a little inspired, and it was, thank you for showing us those techniques. We look forward to the class. If anyone has any questions for us, give us a call or shoot us an email. Thank you all for those who joined us from different countries and states. Wonderful to have you. Take care, stay well, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.